And the U.S. has passed a grim new milestone in the pandemic. More than 225,000 Americans have now lost their lives as new cases surge across the country. El Paso, Texas is now using overflow tents to house patients as hospitals there run out of beds. And officials there have even put a curfew in place in hopes of slowing the spread. ABC's Marcus Moore has the latest.
This morning, the U.S. crossing yet another dark milestone. More than 225,000 lives lost as cases are still on the rise in about 80% of states, hitting the young like 25-year-old Bethany Walters.
So what's been the toughest part of all of this? Breathing.
And the elderly. Now, a study from the University of Washington estimates if 95% of the population wears a mask, it could save nearly 130,000 lives before February. Dr. Anthony Fauci with a blunt assessment.
If people are not wearing masks, then maybe we should be mandating it.
Here in El Paso, COVID-related hospitalizations are up 300% in the last 3 weeks, spiking from 259 to 786. The mayor urging people to stay home as much as possible for the next 2 weeks.
Between the positives to the hospitalizations, how many days it takes, to the ICU, to the ventilators, to, we hope, not deaths, but the bottom line is we think by next Wednesday we're going to need another 200 plus hospital rooms.
Data from the COVID tracking project shows that nationwide, in cases where race is known, black people are dying at nearly 2.5 times the rate of white people, making up 21% of fatalities, despite accounting for just over 12.5% of the population. This morning, we're getting a closer look at those who have passed away from the virus since the start of the pandemic. While less than 1% of America's population live in long-term facilities like nursing homes, they make up 41% of COVID-19 deaths.
The hospitals here in this city have actually run out of beds. It is the reason why they are urging residents in this city to stay home for 2 weeks as they try to stop the spread of this virus. And they are also putting together plans, putting the plans into works to open up a field hospital because they have run out of beds here in this city. It gives you a sense of how this has developed quickly. Clearly, this virus is maintaining its grip on communities across this country, including right here in El Paso, where again they have implemented a curfew from 10 p.m. To 5 o'clock in the morning, hoping to stop this virus as quickly as they can. Diane.
Incredible. Marcus Moore in El Paso, Texas. Thanks, Marcus. And for more on that surge in cases, Dr. John Brownstein joins me now. Doctor, good morning.
Good morning, Diane.
The U.S. is just set the highest 7-day case average yesterday. Can you explain why that number is so important?
Yeah, I mean, so we're at our highest 7-day average. We also had the single highest case count, over 80,000 new cases, and that's an increase of 32% over the last 2 weeks. We're seeing this massive rise. It's not just in one part of the country, it's across the entire country, especially in the Midwest and in El Paso, like you covered. And it's not just about cases. We know the cases lead to the hospitalizations that lead to deaths. We're seeing the increase in hospitalizations occurring. Now we're starting to see signs that mortality is rising. We just crossed 225,000 deaths. So cases are just one marker. And on top of that, we need to be careful. We're heading to the holidays, Halloween, Thanksgiving. More mixing is going to happen. And so if we have these uncontrolled outbreaks leading in to cold and flu season plus movement of people, it's really going to spell a massive disaster. And that's why it's so concerning that the White House is saying that they're just going to allow this virus to keep moving when we're in such a dire situation now across this country.
And you heard from Marcus's piece. Dr. Anthony Fauci said that, if people aren't wearing masks, maybe we should mandate that. Do you foresee new lockdowns or mandates like a national mask mandate if cases keep rising?
Now, we're trying to do everything we can to avoid lockdowns. Lockdowns are so economically impactful. But yes, mask mandates are something that we know work. We have incredible empirical evidence that shows that if you can increase mask use in a community, you can reduce transmission. That's been shown. And in fact, we know that if everyone started wearing masks, we could reduce the numbers of deaths by over 100,000 by February if we just put on that cloth, right? So it's pretty simple stuff. We want to still avoid things like high high-risk indoor activities like bars and dining, limit informal gatherings as much as possible to likely keep schools open as long as possible. But yes, I think if we as individuals can't start doing the right thing, then these mandates are going to start to roll in, unfortunately.
And we now have another outbreak in the White House. 5 staffers in Vice President Mike Pence's circle have tested positive, but he's still out on the campaign trail, and he's planning to preside over Amy Coney Barrett's confirmation vote in the Senate tonight. How risky is that?
You know, it's pretty risky, I would say. I mean, this is the second outbreak, happening at the White House. I mean, it's pretty unbelievable that, the place where you'd expect the best adherence to protocols is allowing for cases to evolve. We have 5 staffers now that have been infected, have been close contacts of Pence. Likely he was exposed. And CDC guidelines are pretty simple here. I mean, he was exposed. He needs to be quarantining for 2 weeks. A campaign rally is not essential travel, unfortunately. And he needs to be doing what he can to protect the people around him and isolating, just like any American is put into this position today. So an outdoor ceremony where potential cases going to erupt for a second time, I just feels like a bit of deja vu all over again.
All right, Dr. John Brownstein, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.